Afternoon, sir.
Evening, Paz. How are you doing?
I'm not bad, just getting home from work.
I wish I were you. I am still
Still
in
at work?
commute. I'm still
Oh,
in commute in a piece of traffic that, oh,
oh
uh,
no.
it told me that I'd have been home. It told me that I'd have been home at 6:40.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's now telling me that I'm going to get home at 7:26.
Mm-mm.
And I
A real
am,
traffic that.
no man, I've been driving now for an hour and about 20 minutes from Mountain View.
Oh,
All
wow.
right. So it's just rough. All right. Who else is here?
Asia.
Okay. How many of you in the group?
Good evening.
It's just the three of us. So me, Asia, Michael, Carol.
Okay. Um, let me give Carla a few to come in. But I thought, so Mr. Waldo said that it was four. Somebody drop out?
Um, no, wait. No, 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 no.
Michael.
Yeah,
Michael
man,
is
I
the
call
person.
Michael name.
No, but count how many supposed to be in the class then?
It's four of us, man. So it's me, Michael, Asia, and Carol.
It's three you said a while earlier,
Yeah, my mistake.
Okay, that's why I asked if somebody drop out.
Yeah,
That's
my
why I asked
mistake.
that. Okay, okay. All right. You want to link the two of them and see what it is, or just maybe give them it's now 3 minutes. All right, I'll give them a couple of minutes to come in. And then we can hopefully
All
they can
right.
get through by then. All right, cool.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Mikey. How you doing?
Good, good. Oh, I was wondering if you were speaking.
Oh, no, 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 no. I was actually waiting on you and
All
somebody
right.
was supposed to come. Right. So I was just waiting on until I have all four of you before I actually begin.
Okay, no problem.
I sent the outline in the chat. Um, you can download it and keep a copy of it. And in the interim, just read through so that when I'm ready to go through, you will be somewhat familiar with what it is that I'm talking about.
Okay, sir.
Is she coming to class? Yeah, no?
Yes, sir. She online now.
Yeah.
I don't understand. You guys just come to class and don't say good afternoon or good evening. So I know that you're here. I don't understand you guys. I'm here trying to get home and I'm saying, no, man, this is taking too long. All right.
Red light camera ahead.
So good evening, students. Welcome to Chemistry and the Environment. I'll be your lecturer for the course. My name is Mark Shan. I have attached to the chat your course outline, and I'm hoping that you have already secured a soft copy of it. On screen, you will see what it looks like. Still in commute, very heavy traffic. So I'm going to ask that you just take a few minutes, please, to just go through. Tonight is not going to be much of a teaching night per se. Just want to do some, get some do's and don'ts and some housekeeping matters out of the way and maybe talk you through one or two of the areas that we're going to be looking at. And to tell you what will be your role as students in this course. It is going to be heavy on reading. You must read. I can give you so much, but you will have to read. You are going to be working. There are 4 of you, so more than likely it's depending on what it is that I have to do. Maybe it's going to be individual presentations. When I give presentations in class, it's not just a teacher that grades the student also grades the class and its members. And what is also important is that at the end of the presentation is going to be shared with the other members of the class. So but when you all do your research, the presentation will be made available to all members. So everybody has access to everything because it's going to be part of your course session. You will see here that it is 75 hours, 30 hours for theory, and 45 hours for laboratory. In COVID, was very creative in getting quote unquote lab work done up. So I'll see how creative it is that I can get because I know at least one of you is very far, and to see how best we can get some lab work out of the way. You will also see in the outline, it says fundamental concepts in chemistry and environmental chemistry. You will see pretty soon how chemistry impacts the environment, and it does so significantly. It does so significantly. So we are going to be starting from basic. We're going to be looking at an atom. We're going to be looking at elements. We're going to be looking at ions. We're going to be looking at molecules as particles of matter. You are going to be required to draw structures for me. You're going to be required also to show me bonding.
In 400 meters, turn right.
So you're going to give me, forgive me here, you're going to give me, we're going to be doing rather structures for varying compounds. For example, I may ask you to draw me the structure of magnesium chloride. I may ask you to draw me the structure for sodium chloride.
Turn right. Then make a U-turn onto Louisville.
And then I will also look at the periodic table. And before we even do our structures, we need to go through the periodic table. So what you will need to know are the first 20 elements of the periodic table. You should be able to list the first 20 elements. You should be able, in listing the first 20 elements, tell me their atomic number, their relative mass number. Should be able to tell me their electronic configuration. You should be able to tell me whether or not these are metals, they are non-metals, they are transition metals, or they are gases. So we're going to be spending quite a bit of time looking at the periodic table, first 20 elements, and talking about the structure of the periodic table, where to find what, and so forth and so on. So that is going to be the first part. It's going to be really hands-on. Don't know how many of you, let me just pause and ask, how many of you have had some experience in chemistry before?
Not me.
None. None. Only in life science with Miss Williams.
Okay. All right. So, nobody? No, I heard the two gentlemen. No chemistry for the ladies?
I did chemistry in C-Sec.
Okay. So, so that's what we're going to be doing. So with your chemistry in CSEC, you should be able to already balance things like equations, right? Chemical equations, equations in ionic forms, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not going to get too much into the reaction part of the chemistry. But the basic part, but you need to know the basic part before we can move into things like the hydrosphere and the lithosphere, the asthenosphere. So it is that you can know what is happening. When was it? It was 2 nights ago, Sunday night. I was coming in from a funeral from the country, co-work of my mother. And some phenomenon is happening out there in space. And, we saw some twinkling stars and, things are happening. So the plan but still is to take the telescope so it is that we can go and possibly have a look one of these nights to see what it is that we can see, if it is that we can see anything. So we need to know exactly how things work, what happens up into the atmosphere. We talk about those very dangerous gases and how it is that we can mitigate those gases, at different layers of the atmosphere, and what can be done to preserve human life. So we'll talk about things like pollution and how it is that we're going to be mitigating, and that's a word. And by the way, anybody knows what the word mitigate means?
It's like a remedy. Practically like,
go ahead.
yeah, practically like if there is a problem, how can you turn it around? Like,
Very,
yeah.
very good. Or not, if it's not fully turned around, how can you reduce it? The
Yeah.
strategies to combat against it, right? So we're going to be looking, so that's what mitigate means. So we're going to be looking at lots of mitigation mechanisms, strategies, how it is that we can prevent some things from happening. So, for example, we know that every now and again we have periodic fires at our landfills. What can be done to prevent these outbreaks of fires? Who is it that is causing these fires? What can we do? What can the authorities do to prevent these fires? Do you believe that these agencies like the NSWMA, NEPA, are doing enough to prevent these fires? Because when the plumes of smoke, when Riverton is on fire, and the plumes of smoke now gets up there in the atmosphere, and it hovers over into the atmosphere for days. I want you to tell me some of the health risks. What are some things? Because at this point in time now, with all the courses you've done, and in your final semester, you guys should be speaking like environmentalists. So tell me, if I have plumes of smoke in the atmosphere, tell me what are some of the health risks, the health hazards that can come with that. And I also want you to tell me, think of some of the ways we can maybe possibly mitigate some of those activities. Anybody?
All right, so you have like respiratory illnesses that can occur,
Good.
such as like asthma. Yeah, anybody else?
Sorry, hold on. Yeah, sorry. You can have a change in precipitation where it becomes acidified.
Very good.
You can also have increase in temperature because the smoke now would actually redirect outgoing radiation back to the ground.
Okay.
Visibility also can be impacted. I'll save some for the others.
There's only 4 of you, so I don't expect to hear only 2 people talking. I want all 4 of you to participate in this. This is a nice course that we're going to talk about, and we'll leave it for last for you guys. This is the one that is going to leave a lasting impression on you, so come talk to me. Very good so far. There are some other areas that I've not heard just yet.
Sir, as we know, it can add to the Earth's carbon footprint, releasing toxic fumes into the atmosphere that can lead to acid rain and so on. You
That's one of
have
the points that Michael made. Acid precipitation. Yeah, continue.
It can lung damage, adding to what Pat said about respiratory problem. Can contaminate groundwater and soil.
Is it just groundwater alone that it contaminates?
Or water
oceanic,
sources
or oceanic bodies of water too?
Yes, in addition to groundwater, can affect other water bodies.
Okay. Next.
Sure. It also impacts the organisms such as birds and insects who
Absolutely.
who rely on a
Absolutely.
clean environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Something else though, one very, very, very important one I don't hear anybody talk about it. A very, very important one. What about the ozone layer?
Sorry, you just click it. Just click it. I'm actually looking at something right now, and it's showing how last year the ozone actually repaired. So I was just about to say if it has something to do with ozone.
Say that again. Last year, how the ozone what?
It repaired somewhat. The whole the ozone is actually shrinking. So I'm actually looking at it right now. So I was about to say.
Right. And I'm happy that you're saying that. So I mean, as I said before, this is, and I'm just having really just mere conversations with you. It's not really the teaching part of it tonight. It's just to give you a little snippet of what to expect in the course, because you're going to be having some readings for me, for the remainder of the class into next session. So yes, the ozone is one of the largest component of these gases, that it caused the depletion of the ozone layer. Michael said something earlier that yes, he's looking at something to say that last year the ozone, the crater within the ozone starts to shrink. So yes, the ozone is self-repairing, and the more of these toxic gases that we have getting into the atmosphere, the ozone depletant gases, it widens the craters within the ozone layer. These craters prevent from the different layers of the atmosphere very harsh rays from coming in. So what it does, so here you see, we talk about the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere. So you have all these spheres inside of these in the atmosphere. And you talk about the ozone layer formation, the rose and the depletion, the effects of the CFCs, the chlorofluorocarbons, the atmospheric pollutants, right? So all these create big craters within the ozone layer. And these craters cause the very harsh rays that the ozone layer, that film is supposed to protect from coming to Earth, gets to Earth. And what it does, it is a major contributor to skin cancers. And more people now are being diagnosed with skin cancers. All right. And as well, compared to before. Now, there's an article, I wouldn't mind if you guys could go and research it, but there's an article that I came across some time ago, that during COVID, one of the most, and it so happens that we are talking about it now, because in California, what is happening just now?
The wildfires.
Wildfires, and you guys would have done forestry already, and wildfires. So we need to find ways that we can use to mitigate those wildfires. What do you think is happening now to the atmospheric gases there? Anybody, somebody?
Sorry, what you mean?
There's an increase in these
Oh yeah,
atmospheric gases, right?
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because these chlorofluorocarbons now are getting into the atmosphere. Because remember, these and this is what I want you to read upon. I want you to read upon the wildfires happening now in California. I want you to follow the news. I want you to be able to see how it is that we can mitigate, what they can do to mitigate the fires, coupled with natural phenomenon such as wind that are blowing, and causing the spread of these fires. Saw a report recently about arsenic, that they held somebody, possibly who may have started the fires. But what it is that we have to look at is these chlorofluorocarbons. These houses are built with with compounds that are ozone depletants. So think about for example, what if one of those or several of those houses have some sort of asbestos, which is a cancer-causing material? It means that when it is being burned, all those toxins coming out of these asbestos roofing, and they use it quite a bit in roofing materials and some piping materials. It is being spread as insulation, right? It is being spread in, matter of fact, very old water commission pipes were made from asbestos. All right.
So me and them.
Right. So many of us have been exposed at some point in time, to some form of asbestos. You know where asbestos was again? They were wondering some time ago, and we're just having conversations. I mean, I'm not really teaching. It's just I'm just trying to strike your interest because I want you to start reading from tonight. They were wondering, why is it that so many domestic helpers were having cancers, and they're wondering what was causing it. And it, more often than not, it was like lung cancer. And they were trying to figure out what was causing the effects of it. And lo and behold, they recognized that for the ironing board, that thing. Hold on for me, please, guys. Right. So what it is that they discovered is that section that they put the hot iron on so that it doesn't burn, they put it face down, that section was made from asbestos. So as it heats, it was sending off different forms of radiation and emitting, different toxins. And these helpers, of course, were standing over the ironing board, ironing. So, and this happened back then. So if you want, you can go and research that to see if you can find an article to look at it. So what it is that they have done now is to abandon these asbestos type materials from housing. Why I made mention of it just now with the fire in California, because you don't know if you have any of those old houses, that were not demolished and rebuilt, but they were renovated. They may contain some asbestos in their roofing materials. We don't know. I am only saying. So if we do have, if they do have these asbestos type materials in their roofing materials, and in their pipes, their insulations, with these wildfires, trust me, you're going to be having lots of radiation in the atmosphere. Let me pivot and ask a question. During 9/11, anybody have an idea of how many people developed lung cancer or cancer on a whole?
Millions.
Absolutely.
Millions.
Absolutely. Because these underground sewer right there in New York, these high-rise buildings and the likes were made from these radioactive and very dangerous compounds, right? So many of the firefighters are, if they have not yet gone home to be with the Lord, are actually suffering from terminal illnesses because of the inhalation of all of this. All right. So I want you to also read on that. So all of what we're talking about here is chemistry and the environment, how all of this reacts. The firefighters will say to you that if they have gone through a bit of fire, what it is that they will do. You know, some of them say that they will drink milk because it causes some neutralization of something. I won't tell you what it is. You need to go and read up because you have to be in the know. You have to be in the know because, you know, the truth of the matter is, who to tell where this life is going to take you? You may very well become a OHS person in an organization where there's fire and you have to, or maybe there's no fire, but you will have to be the one conducting fire drills and giving talks to the employees, and, you know, saying to them how they should react and what they should or should not do in the event of, you know, a fire or an earthquake, etc., etc. Right? So, and I can tell you, while studying geology, I came across what was a live sample of asbestos many years ago. And as a science student, you know, one who you know did it all the way up, I knew what it was, and I knew the dangers of it. And I mean, it started growing things on it. And I'm telling you, if one of those ever break off, and well, I wouldn't have been here at this time many years later, telling you about it, because I'm sure I would have been very dead. And I will tell you, I just did not play around with that sample, right? There are chemicals in the laboratory right about now. If I were to take you into the lab at school, that are, we have to store them in very dark bottles, and we have to store them not on the countertop, but in cupboards, because they will react with light. They will react with light. And these are what we call organic compounds. Right? So these compounds are compounds that we have to respect. So someone who is a lab technician has to know what to do, has to be very careful in the lab, because the lab tech can actually be exposed to some of these very toxic chemicals that, you know, becomes pretty much life or death and death. All right, so these are some of the things that we talk about. We'll be talking about, you know, we talk about, I made mention of those greenhouse effect and the global warming already, with the CFCs and the plumes of smoke from, you know, different places. What is happening in California? Let me go back to something that Michael said just now. And as I said before, I'm not teaching, I'm just having a conversation. I'm trying to strike your interest. So all of what it is that I'm talking about now, you will hear again during this semester in this very course, because I'll now have to go into in depth with them. Michael spoke something about repairing the ozone. And yes, it is repairable. In California, they were saying, there's an article, and you guys can go and try and find it and read it. It's lots of reading, students. Because when I give you essays, you can't just give me a little one flimsy point. You have to develop the points and let me know that you're thinking like an environmentalist. Because if you are called for an interview, you can't and so forth. You have to speak like you're knowledgeable about the subject matter. So they did a study, because the air quality, it was an air quality study. The air quality in that parts of, in the Western United States, was not good. It had the worst air quality globally. And what they were saying is that during COVID, when they had the stay-at-home policy, gradually the air quality improved. to one of the best air quality within the world. So yes, these things can be self-repairing, and which is why we are doing this course. Yes, we know we just have 4 of you, but it's important for you guys now to go out and spread the word. Because if we don't take care of the environment will not take care of us. And the things that we are doing now can mitigate and reduce the effect or slow down the damning effect on the environment. Things like separating your garbage. Yes, sir, but when you separate the garbage and it goes to Riverton, everything goes back into one thing. Yeah, I agree with that, because we are not where we are supposed to be. So I want students like you know to go and take over NSWMA and to take over these other areas where it is that you can go ahead and show yourselves. One of the areas I want you guys to take over are the hotel industries. Any one of those major hotel chains, I want you guys to become the OHS person there, the occupational health and safety person there, right? Because what you may not know is that quite a bit of these hoteliers are actually not paying the money for emptying their solid waste. But what they are opting to do is to empty the effluents into the ocean. All right. So when they do things like that, what it does is to increase the BOD and the COD and the fecal coliform counts within the ocean. All right. So when you look at aquatic plants and aquatic animals, they're dying out. They're dying. When you look at the livelihood to man don't have no money again because the man can't go out, they go fish. Because the aquatic animals are dying. So if the man can't fish to feed him family, the man will come and kill and thief and rob us. Because his livelihood is now disturbed. Him have to go find a new livelihood. Am I making sense right there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Man. So these are things that I want you to be able to think about. Go ahead. Question? Come in. Yes, no, all right. So these are things that I want you to think about as we try to navigate what is going to be happening within this course. It's going to be a lot of reading. It's going to be a lot of explanation. It's going to be a lot of you understanding the material and then passing back the material in a form to say, sir, I understand. It's not a matter of swatting. This course is not a swatting course. This course is going to be a course where you understand the material, you read, you understand, and you are presenting the information. Also, there's something I was going to say to you. Right. So I am actually waiting now with bated breath for sometime soon, maybe in another month or two, to hear about a massive fish kill in the Rio Cobre. It happens every year. It happens every year. And you wonder to yourself what it is that the authorities are doing to this particular company that is always very guilty of releasing their effluents into the ocean, into the Cobre, killing plant life, animal life, and disturbing the livelihood of man. So it's not just man fishing, but people go to river to bathe and to wash and to get potable water. That can't happen again because effluents are being flushed into the ocean, into the river. All right? The river flows into the ocean. Contamination from the river into the ocean. And it's a whole lot of things that are happening. All right. And then now we will look at how it is that we can reduce these CFCs. A simple thing like boycotting aerosol sprays because they are made from chlorofluorocarbons, and looking at alternatives. One of the things that I know you would have done and been introduced to is these, we carry bottled water as opposed to go and buy, these water or the Catherine Peak, the bottled water, because what it is that is doing, it's happening is that it's putting a strain on the environment. These are non-biodegradable materials, and when it gets into the ocean, it causes death of animal life. Another study was done, and it is being purported that there are some types of fish that are now eating plastics because of the amount of plastics in the ocean, to the point where when tests are done on their bodies, the fish meat is actually plasticky in nature. And if that is true, you know that when you and I consume these fish, it is that we are actually consuming the plastic, and we are releasing toxins in our system, right? Cancer causing. So
Sir,
many of
it's
us
100% true.
same
And
same thing.
not only that, the bottled waters, they are filled with microplastics.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
they have plenty.
So what happens now if you have them in your car and the temperature increases on that bottled water? You're actually releasing those toxins in the water, and then in turn you're consuming those toxins. Anybody ever thought about that before?
Yes, sir. I heard about that a long time ago.
Everyone,
You
that's
know,
why your belly hurt you.
that's and then now, let me see if it's up here. It should be up here. And then there's something that I'll talk to you about as it relates to, we'll talk about radioactivity just now, but there's something that I'm not seeing. Temperature, you're not seeing anything with temperature. Anyhow, so you will see it may come out somehow. Um, Temperature increasing the rate of a chemical reaction. We know we're going to be talking about redox reactions here, but temperature increases the rate of a chemical reaction, and so that explains the whole concept of those bottle stuff. So, one has to be very careful. Storage is very important in all of those things that you are, the bottled water, and not only bottled water, but the bottled juices too, that we consume, and we have it, they have it out into the sun for long periods, and then in turn now coming to sell us. It's really not good. And then now, to wrap it off, we're going to be looking at things like, the lithosphere. The lithosphere is, anybody knows what the lithosphere is before I go there? Anybody, somebody?
The croissant, the
Earth.
section of the earth where contain the crust
Right.
and
Right. So
biological things.
it's Earth, right? So we talk about the lithosphere, we're talking about the Earth, what you and I walk on, and other parts of it. It goes into different sections, right? When I was asking the question earlier, I think one student said the extra carbon dioxide actually gets absorbed in or potable water. And that also says not just the potable water, but in our oceanic water as well. And it, when we talk about things like, I mean, it's a beautiful study. I won't get too much into that because that's a special branch of geology. We talk about the crustaceans, not sea urchins, but the barnacles, the conch, all of those shell-like, aquatic animals. How it is they think those shells are formed. It's really from the precipitation of the calcium carbonate out of the water. So when we have enough or too much of these carbonates from the acid rain that is leached into the lithosphere, and then we talk about things like here, the hydrosphere, right? What do you think the hydrosphere is? You don't have to ask, but I don't have to answer rather. But a hydrosphere now is what is when it takes all of those acidic the rainfall. See here, as a matter of fact, number 3, discuss the formation of acid rain and its impact on the environment. So it is taking those acidic rain now into the ocean, and then at some point in time it gets precipitated out. And this is how these barnacles and conch and all of those shellfish type are able to get their crustaceans around them. It's just a beautiful cycle. So we're going to be looking at the carbon cycle, the water cycle, the hydrogen cycle, the nitrogen cycle. We're going to see all of what is happening. And then the final thing that we're going to be doing in the course is looking at, as I said, the lithosphere, and then we're going to talk about things like soil, how those NPKs work. And the NPKs are the nitrogen, the phosphorus, and the potassium, and what it does. If your soil is lacking NPK, you're not going to have no good soil. All right. One of the things I want you to think about is why is it that Paz has a lovely banana planting farm at his yard, and I get my daily or my monthly supply of freshly grown plantains and bananas, GMO-free foods, healthy food for the body. And him say, boy, sir, don't worry about it, man. I'm going to give you a suck of each. You should be good to go. But the size product or produce that Paz gets, when man come to fruition, it is about quarter the size of Paz. Can anybody give a possible reason for that?
Paz has a better green thumb.
Not well, that will be far from the truth. That's what old time people say. Anybody else?
Could be the nutrients that
And
it.
that's what it is. It's a soil
Yeah, man,
type,
for that's fertilizer, man.
right? It's a soil type. So some people say, oh, I have a green thumb. Yeah, it's what it is that you're putting in the stuff. So are you one of those people who have your compost? Are you using fertilizers that when it rains, it leaches into the ocean and rivers and streams to kill aquatic plants and animals? Those are things when you're doing environmental chemistry or chemistry and the environment. Anything chemical, you can't say if they give you something. Oh, well, I'll tell you about that next class. Let me talk about it now. You will get a case study. You will get a case study. You will get a case study. I think what is happening is you are required to answer 3 questions, if I'm not mistaken. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But one of the questions is compulsory, right? If they say to you, Jamaica has an mealybugs, for argument's sake, were found on one of the farms. And how it is that you'll go about reducing these mealybugs because they are eating away, expensive crop. If you ever tell them, say, oh, buy one bacon, man, and just go and spray them out, you get zero. Because you're now adding chemicals to the atmosphere. So we need to use something that is neutral. So what it is that you need to do is to look at the food chain.
Get some puss.
There you go. So you can get some food chain, look at the food chain and say, okay, what eat these mealybugs? And then again put, introduce those into the food chain. Similar to how mongoose came to Jamaica, because the cane farmers were having an issue with rats. So I can say the plan. If that's the case, we can get rid of it. It don't make sense to put poisons there, because inevitably we are going to have effects of that. So what they did was to get these mongooses, and what they were high in the food chain, so they fed on the rats. And then this is how they were able to minimize the effects of having these rats into the cane field, because the rats used to just eat out the something, and funny enough, make them eating out the man them profit. All right. And then afterwards, now they started recognizing that, guess what? If we catch one of these mongoose and we can light him tail, can go and set the whole cane something on fire, man, so we can do slash and burn method. That method is not a good method at all to use. So you can get a
Sorry, you ever
question.
see them do that yet?
Yes, man.
One of the wickedest, cruelest thing I ever seen in my life,
It is evil.
Yes.
It is evil. Evil. All right? Evil, 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 evil. So these are things that we need to talk about when we are looking at the environment and how to protect the environment. So yes, so it's green thumb. It is really how it is that the soil type. His soil may be one that is sandy or salty or has lots of clay, or mine may have lot of sand, so my nutrients can't stay in the soil, it gets leached out quickly, or it is very clay type, so it becomes waterlogged and holds the water in it and causes the root of the plants to rot and so forth and so on. Where his soil is a good, texture, containing these inorganic compounds of NPK, your nitrogen, your phosphorus, and your potassium. And the works, it's, yeah. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. Number 9 here says solid waste management procedures, recycling landfills, incineration, and the works and the likes. So in a nutshell, that's what chemistry and the environment is. It's one of those areas that is going to be very practical and applicable the first day you get out there and work. The very first day you get out there, it's going to be applicable. I'm going to pause here. Are there any questions? Comments?
Sure. Just one thing that you said earlier. The fish kill. It's a very serious thing when you have constant discharge of effluent in your waterways. Because here, one of our main tasks is to restore the Bronx River ecosystem, and this is due to industrial action some hundreds a year ago, over 100 years ago, where industrial waste were discharged within the river. And what has happened now is that you can't go in the river to bathe. You can't catch any of the fish. You can't eat anything from the river. You can't use that water to do anything. And it's even shocking when we are doing some sampling that we literally have to put on hazmat suit to go in a river that over a century ago people usually bathe in this river. So just we need to understand like the significance of what we're doing, because without us, we are going to lose the environment that we grew up in, where we were free to participate in a lot of stuff. So I just want to throw that out. It's right now. There's a report that I'm reading, and it says that we have passed the 1.5 temperature mark. We are fluctuating between 1.55 and 1.6. And persons might be looking and saying, that is not enough. That is just a little bit of change. But when I was privileged the other day to hold an endangered species, it's a turtle, that within our area, there are about 20 of this particular species, a turtle, and it's native to where we are. And persons are saying, they will rebound. But when you have pollution and change in temperature, change in salinity, it drives the food that these particular organisms need further out. These organisms now has to deal with a different temperature, which might be cooler because they have to go out deeper. They now have to go deeper to find food. And all of this change is a chain reaction that sees a lot of species becoming threatened and so on. So the chemistry behind all of this is very important, and we have to understand it and be able to apply the knowledge so that we can be better spokesperson for the environment. It's a very we're in a very serious time right now.
You said something. I don't know if anybody is seeing this too, but I'm still in the car and I'm looking at one of those stars. I need to go and see if I can take out the telescope and possibly see if I can look into it. It is almost iridescent, there's a sparkle. Imagine you have a star on a Christmas tree that is blinking. That's what this star is doing. So I don't know if anybody wanted us maybe look out and see if you see it. It depends on where you are, but it is to my don't even know, northwest from where I'm at. Yes, you talk about those industrial waste. The money talks, all right? Because for me to empty my effluent into the ocean to say, we got a pipe busted, or whatever the situation is, and then the authorities are going to fine me $1 million. But to really calling the appropriate people to come in and take the waste away is $3 million. Which one would you use? You see the point I'm making?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
But you don't play it though.
And I am being recorded, and I don't know where this is going to go, and I don't want to implicate, but it is a fact. And what needs to happen is that not only that the authorities now need to have heavy fines, heavy fines for these industries that year after year after year after year continue to empty their effluents. Don't tell me that there is a spill. Put things in place to mitigate spillage. What if, and this is why we can't use radioactive stuff in Jamaica now, because if we did have any plutonium spill in Jamaica, we're dead, you know. One drop of plutonium into NWC's water reserve kill off the whole of we in Jamaica. One drop of plutonium. You understand? So we have to be very careful and very mindful of what it is that we're doing. You spoke about those turtles. When you tell people say fish can drown, them say fish can drown, what kind of foolishness is he talking about? But there are parts of the ocean where there is very limited oxygen. Very limited oxygen. So therefore, that section is very dead. There is no aquatic plants and animals there. And if you're driving these animals, these aquatic animals, into areas where you're going to kill them, you're not going to have no food to eat. And things are going to go extinct. These organisms are going to go extinct. Right? For example, things like just merely building roads too, developing Portmore in particular, with all those mangroves. And right about now, I can think of about 3, if not 4 different types of construction, of housing schemes. We're not talking about a one house I build. I'm talking about scores of homes that are being built. That they're removing the habitats of these crocodiles. So what you find now is that during heavy rains, these crocodiles are turned up into people's backyard. How dangerous can that be? When you live certain places, you know, when I'm in Florida, and it rains in particular, with the lakes surrounding us in Florida, I don't go if I can't see where I'm going. If I am parking the car and I don't get up, I have to go closer to the lake to park the car. Before I get out of the car, I have to look around using extra light to see if there's any of these large creatures that would have washed up and come out and just waiting for its prey. Real talk. Real talk. I remember dropping home somebody in Portmore, in where you call the word there now? Bridgeview. There's a canal that runs that side there.
Yeah, Mega Mart.
Right. And when I was dropping the person off in the night, like about the 11 o'clock at night, thereabout, coming from church actually, we saw quite a bit of people outside. One big commotion. Was like, what is happening? And my friend say, you know what? I don't want to hear what happening now. I'm going to go through the side door. And people started beckoning, don't go down there, so. They were like, why? Alligators, some crooks came up. And they were trying to find them and they couldn't find them. No, they are endangered species, so you're not supposed to capture them. You're not supposed to hurt them. The best you're supposed to do is to say, oi, go back to your yard and run them back into their habitat. But I'm saying, because of man's disobedience to the environment, things that never used to bother us are now bothering us. And we have to be very careful. If not, we are now reaping the consequences. We're reaping it. Right? So those are some of the things that we'll talk about. You know, we'll try and find some interesting articles that we can read, and we can argue, and we can talk about it, and we can, you know, see how best we can, you know, try to understand and make changes, or suggest possible changes to be made, and the likes. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to ask if there are any questions, and then just come and just wrap up, and you know, ask that you just go and start with some general reading. Where I'll start is not getting into the lithosphere and the hydrosphere just yet, the atmosphere, but is to go into the particulate theory up here. And that's kind of very lengthy, but any questions?
No question from me.
Not for me, sir.
Not for me,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. All right. There's something else that comes to mind. Every time I teach this course, I'm marveled at it, but something else that came to mind just now, and I'm just trying to see where it falls. Right here, the hydrosphere. We're going to look at things like acid rain and impacts and polluted and versus potable water. List 5 main sources of water pollution and the impacts of water quality. Describe water quality standards and indicators. So don't expect the questions to come. I mean, they may ask you, yes, what is pollution? Differentiate between polluted water and potable water, you know, whatever it is. But one of the things that could possibly come again is, I'm thinking as I am wrapping up about Port Royal. Matter of fact, I am due a visit anytime now. Not only that, I normally go over there and support, you know, the people them, but also what I do is I have a fishing rod, and I just want to pair out there and just start to fish. It's just a pastime, and I do this because I want to hear and to have conversations with some of the fishermen. Because unfortunately,
Sir, you mean out of Palisados?
yes, sir.
Oh.
Because unfortunately, some of them fish, got the fish right there, so, and throw it back. They don't recognize that they're polluting the water. They have no clue. And, you know, sometimes I'll go out there and I'll just, you know, have some soft conversations, because I don't want to go and tell them and say, don't do it, because the man may think say you're authority and thinks you're going, you know, take action against him and may hurt you. But, you know, just going to say, why? So let me ask you now. So when you throw back that inside the so, oh, where it go? Him say, no, so the fish them come and come eat it. I say, eat everything. I say, but before them come eat it, what about the smell? And you start reasoning with the man, so the man recognize the boy. You know, through your talk, or you sound like one of them people. Them say, no, man, me I want to look a teacher, man. I know them things. I say, why teacher, you know, say you're right. And you try to impart the knowledge in a very nice way to them, because they don't know. And also, some of them, when you go down to Port Royal itself, right by across from Gloria's over there. And sometimes, not sometimes, there is a fishing village that is there. You know, when the guys come in with them very nice catch, oh Lord, I'm even thinking of some of them snappers, you know, yellow belly snappers that them get. Very nice looking fish. Very, very nice. Them got them and them have the guts in buckets. And then after that, now the man them just come and just wash out the bucket and just throw everything right back into the sea. And I stand up and I look at it and I shake my head and I get very upset because I'm an environmentalist. I get very upset, cross even. And then the picture that is being painted now is that on a Sunday in particular, which is the time that I normally go, you will see little boys and girls from the community in the ocean itself swimming. So they go and they jump off in the ocean and they swim. And I say, but aren't you afraid? Them say, no, sir. I said, okay, but look at that. What is that? Jellyfish. I said, have you ever been stung by one? No, sir. I said, well, let me tell you from somebody who has been stung by a jellyfish. It's not pretty, right? That venom is serious. It can kill you. And especially if it gets over your face, right? That is an amoeba, unicellular organism. And it can suffocate you. And somebody literally will have to hold you to tear that amoeba from your nostrils or your mouth so that you can breathe. Because when that gets stuck to your face, it gets really stuck to your face. So at one side, them throwing back the gut of the fish into the ocean. A few chains down, you have the boys and the girls from the community who are swimming in the ocean. And a few chain from that, you have the people them dress up very nice. Skimpily, some of them coming from Lime Key. And I'm saying, but look at this. They don't recognize that they're damaging their own livelihood. I don't know if anybody see the point that I'm making.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir.
Because guess what? The same fish that them get to put food on their tables is for them sons and daughters and them son and daughters, friend and them cousin who are swimming in the ocean. So any pollution, it will come back into their household. And also, it is their other family members who have one little boat who can carry the people them go out of Lime Key. When the water polluted and nothing now go on, them not got nothing. So it's like you're having your own cake and then you're eating it. That don't make no sense. So the environment will do for us what it is that we can do for it. Real talk. The environment can do for us whatever it is that we can do for it. I'm stopping here. Anybody can see themselves doing this course and enjoying this course and applying this course in life?
Yeah, man, definitely.
All right. That's all I want to hear. All right, guys. If there are no other questions, what I'd want you to do for me is just to read. Your very wide reading. Let me just tell you this. What course was that? Oh Lord. Paleontology. When I was doing paleontology, we got some articles to read that had nothing to do with Jamaica. And I was always wondering, why am I reading these articles? Them just don't make any sense. But when the questions are asked and you can rally back on a situation, it's like what Michael was saying, that he was reading something to say that the ozone has begun to repair its crater. And you remember the article, and then you can apply what you spoke, what you read in something, to say, you remember that Shan wrote that article and said, according to Shan, and you put that into your essay, nobody can talk to you. When I give you your grade and them say, why the student get this grade? I say, okay, go and go read the essay and second mark it. Real talk. So you have to read in order to have the information. so that you can put it down on paper and then expound on it. It's very important. That's the only way you're going to survive. Because you're going to get a case study, you don't know what the case is going to be. It can be anywhere. They will give you a scenario, and then from that scenario, they will ask you a series of questions. One of the questions for sure is how it is that you're going to be able to mitigate. And sometimes it's 5 marks, and you can't put 1 point for 5 marks. You have to have at least 3. And when I say at least 3, it's going to be 3 or more points in order for you to pick up those 5 points. All right, guys. This was just really an introduction. If what it is that I spoke about, you don't understand it, it's not a problem. You now have an opportunity to go and start reading. You have your outline. Just read. Pick up something on the hydrosphere and just read. Something on the lithosphere and just read. Something on the atmosphere and just read. And then where I'm going to start is some fundamental concepts. You need to know these fundamental things. So what I'll do is I'll try my very best to present the content to you in such a way that I may also do some online labs. It is my hope to do a video presentation of some labs and present it. We can do some calculations, some mole concept calculations, I think, somewhere there. Can't find it now, but yeah, apply mole concepts to ionic, molecular acid-base redox and electrochemical reactions and equations. Yeah. So we're going to do some of those calculations. You all did pretty well for your environmental statistics. So I know you know how to do math. So nobody can't tell that they don't know how to do math at this stage now. So and from my memory, some people went to Walmart and bought new calculators. So let's hope that the calculator still
It's not working.
Let's hope it's still operable, right? If not, you have to go back and buy another one. All right, guys. Can you just confirm for me, please? It's on a Tuesday, 7 to 9. Which other days, class? Thursday?
Yes, sir. Thursday.
What time?
5 to 6, 5 to 7. Yeah, 5 to 7.
Is it tonight? Is it 7 to 8:30 or is 7 to 9?
7 to
7 to
9
9.
tonight.
7 to 9 tonight.
Yeah.
What time is it on Thursday? Is it 5 to 6:30 to 7:30 to 6:30? Or is 5 to 7?
1 second.
It is
Yeah, 5 to 7.
7, yeah.
Okay, good.
5 to
All
7.
right, guys. All right. See you then. Do I have a commitment from you to start reading, guys, and to give me your 100%?
Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
Big up yourselves. All the best, guys. Take care.
All right,
Thanks
sir.
much.
Night.
Have a good rest of
You too.